All right, you've been listening to President Donald Trump in the Rose Garden in Washington talking about what we've been hearing about now for well over a week and been hearing about tariffs for months. And he's talking about reciprocal tariffs. So think of it in terms of each of those countries that he talked about and others would presumably start paying tariffs at the same rate that they've been charging.
Yeah, so joining us now for reaction and analysis is Dr. Paul Isely, Associate Dean for Undergraduate Programs in the College of Business at GVSU. Let's get right to it. Your initial thoughts and reaction.
Yeah, this was pretty much what we expected. They'd pretty much told us that this was going to be a reciprocal tariff and that it would result in matching the tariffs and matching the costs that other countries are costing us. So the thought process behind that is that over time we'll wear down their tariffs and then we'll be able to sell them something that we're not able to do right now. That's the theory.
So that really crystallizes in a very few seconds what the president has been outlining that he wants to do. Now, let's go from the theory to the reality. We saw a Michigan resident who said in 6 months or a year that we'll start seeing something positive, and in 3 years he thinks it'll be great. What does it look like in 6 months or a year?
Yeah, as we look at the initial models that we've been looking at, and we look at them and many other people have been running them, is that this first year certainly looks like a big negative. These types of tariffs we're expecting on the order of 2 to 3% off U.S. growth. The auto tariffs that he's talked about likely would affect Michigan to the tune of about $8 billion and decrease our jobs by 10 to 15,000 compared to what they would have been before. That's what we're looking at in the short term. This is the policy that he's outlining is one that says we want to bring back factories. Factories take years to bring back. They don't take months, they take years. So until that happens, that extra costs result in less cars being sold, less things being built.
Will this shake consumer confidence?
Yes, it already has.
Yeah.
So we're already seeing consumer confidence drop across the United States. And quite frankly, these are tariffs that have never really been seen before. And as a result, there's a lot of uncertainty as to how it will play out for individuals and for individual industries. And that's going to continue to freeze individuals from spending money, and it's going to continue to freeze businesses from spending money because they're not quite sure how this is going to work. And if it's going to take them 3 or 4 years to build a factory, they might just decide it's time to wait it out and see what happens in 3 or 4 years.
One of the things that we know from experience is that that Wall Street doesn't like uncertainty. And this is perhaps already baked in. I don't know. But this is the kind of thing that people on Wall Street will look at, and it will have an impact. Is this going to be something that we see reverberating through the markets, or is it already baked in?
Well, we've seen it reverberating through the markets. It's yet to be seen if it's baked in. Most of us are looking at the profits that we expect firms to have after all of this goes into play and suggest that there's a bit more to go. So, and certainly uncertainty, we're seeing folks in other countries get really uncertain about the United States for the first time. So we're seeing outflows of funds out of the United States that we haven't seen before.
And finally, and Amber and I had talked about this earlier, I mean, I don't like to use words like recession and depression and those kind of things, but is it inevitable from your experience, and you have a lot of it, that this is going to, as a whole on the economy, cause constriction?
Well, it's inevitable that this will slow things down for us this year. It will do that. And it already has started to do that. We already have firms across West Michigan choosing not to hire until they figure out how it's going to affect them. So it's going to slow stuff down this year. The question is, we're a big ship. We're moving forward pretty quickly. Is this enough momentum to stop us, or do we go forward just slowly? And it will really depend on how long these tariffs stay in place, how big they are, and how many waivers start getting put into place over time.
Okay.
Dr. Paul Isely, as always, it's a pleasure to have you in here, and this is going to be something I suspect you're going to come back and talk with us again about, because it's going to be an ongoing process to see how it impacts us, right?